Muscle cars have always been the first choice for those who want the most power for their money. These cars may be far from perfect, but even the modern versions capture the American free spirit like no other vehicle on the market. Powerful, raw, and attractive. What more could you ask for at that price? Nothing seems as attainable as muscle cars. By attainable, we mean used models, since, unfortunately, new ones are mostly not available anymore. Buying an affordable used car feels like the perfect ticket into the world of sports cars. By affordable, we're referring to the entry-level variants, Mustang, Camaro, or Challenger. Which one of these three makes the best choice as a used car in its most basic version? That's the answer we're seeking today, so let's start with the comparison. Let's start with the most important aspect of every muscle car, the engine. What do you get from each model if you pick the base version? Well, things are a bit different between these three cars because the base Mustang rather relies on a more modern 2.3-liter Turbo 4, which is rated at 310 horsepower, but offers way more torque than rivals, 350 pound-feet. The rest of the three rely rather on old-school naturally aspirated V6 units. The Camaro comes equipped with a 3.6-liter V6 with 335 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. It's the most powerful engine in this comparison, but the Challenger's Pentastar V6 isn't far behind, with its max output of 303 horsepower and 268 pound-feet of torque. Clearly, with all that torque, the Mustang's Turbo 4 might be the best for everyday ride because of a much better throttle response at low RPMs, let alone better fuel efficiency, which we will mention in a few moments. Still, with its high revving nature and way better sonic features, the Camaro's V6 is clearly a better choice for more inspired driving. Finally, the Challenger's engine offers a typical feel of a naturally aspirated V6 as well, though in a slightly more old-school manner, also with a superior exhaust note compared to the torquey EcoBoost. So, all three cars are close in terms of max output, a little bit over 300 horsepower, and all three models put power to the wheels in the same way, either with a manual or automatic transmission. In the case of automatic, Chevy and Ford used a 10-speed unit, while Dodge uses ZF's 8-speed gearbox that, despite the lack of gears, feels more refined than the other two. Another important aspect where the Challenger is at an advantage is that it's only available with all-wheel drive. But does this make it the quickest in the pack? It doesn't. It's quite the opposite. This leads us to the Challenger's key problem, curb weight. Back in the day when the original Challenger was launched, it was classified as a pony car, but it was nowhere near as nimble as the Mustang and Camaro, because it was based on a full-sized B-body platform, significantly heavier. Decades later, things haven't changed at all. While the base Mustang and Camaro both weigh around 3,300 pounds, the Challenger, based on the old Mercedes-Benz platform, weighs 4,000 pounds. So the Challenger is the least powerful and the heaviest of the three, and its advanced ZF gearbox is actually the only reason why it can keep up in terms of acceleration, more or less. It needs around 5.5 seconds to hit 60, which is not bad at all, but lighter and more agile rivals are nearly half a second quicker. As for fuel economy, the V6-powered Challenger and Camaro are both good for about 19 miles per gallon city and 30 miles per gallon highway. The Mustang, with its smaller Turbo 4, returns up to 21 miles per gallon in the city and 32 miles per gallon on the highway. So it's more efficient with more torque than rivals, which probably makes it the best daily driver, unless you really can't stand that Turbo 4 engine note. But nothing in life is just about numbers. It's more about the experience, and that's where these three models differentiate much more than you'd expect. The Mustang is a solid, fun-to-drive car, comfortable enough, but engaging as well, probably the most well-rounded of the three. The Camaro, on the other hand, is the sharpest of the three and feels more like a sports car than a classic muscle car. The Challenger is quite the opposite. It feels way bigger and heavier than the other two, while the suspension setup is focused on creating comfort rather than sharp handling. So we could say that it's the closest to the traditional muscle car experience of the three. All three cars are good in their own way, so it mostly comes down to personal preferences. The thing with pretty much every car model is that its base versions usually come with a less impressive look compared to more expensive variants. In the case of the Challenger, the difference is not all that significant, because the base XXT sticks to the Challenger's classic muscle car design. That clear, long hood look and overall silhouette closely resemble the original Challenger, and just like more expensive variants, the SXT comes with the signature split grille. Of course, it lacks more aggressive details from higher trims in terms of diffusers, rear spoiler, and things like that. But it looks really nice, definitely not like a typical entry-level model. Even the wheels look pretty decent, which is why we believe the Challenger is the best looking of the three when we talk about base variants. Unlike the Challenger, the other two models don't follow the original designs all that much. Instead of the bulky and rounded design, the Mustang, for example, rather features sharp lines and puts much more focus on aerodynamics. The front end is highlighted by a bold grille with chrome accents and the signature pony emblem, while LED headlights and taillights are part of the standard equipment, giving the contemporary touch and making this base version look more upscale. But the lack of more aggressive aerodynamic cues from upper trims seems more noticeable than in the case of Challenger, though base wheels actually look pretty nice. Finally, the Camaro. Just like the other two, it may lack a couple of performance accents from more upscale models, but still, it looks pretty impressive with that angular face, slanted windshield, and the rear end that stands out with round exhaust pipes. All in all, the Challenger is an easy choice for anyone looking for retro vibes. Those in the market for a modern, sharp look will find the base Mustang and Camaro equally attractive. Muscle cars have never been known for some spectacular interior designs, but all three cabins look decent enough. The Mustang's interior is nice and features some quite fine materials, even in its base variant. More importantly, ergonomics are great, as everything inside the Mustang is thoughtfully placed, starting from steering wheel controls, gauges, infotainment screen, and climate controls. Visibility is also good, but the real trouble starts with the second row of seats, which is too tight even by muscle car standards and almost unusable. Compared to the previous generation Mustang, the discontinued Camaro looks more modern with its angular dashboard design. Also, we presume most would prefer its more straightforward steering wheel controls, along with the better placement of climate controls. Still, just like the Mustang, the Camaro is really tight, while the windshield and rear window are relatively small, which, along with the high door sills, make the visibility worse compared to Ford's Pony. The Challenger may have the best or the worst interior of the three, depending on your priorities. Visually, it's probably more outdated than the other two, while the seats, although very comfortable, lack the side support you would expect from a sports car. Still, there are many things about this cabin to like, starting from the driver-centric dashboard design and really good ergonomics. Furthermore, there's way more space in the second row, while the cargo area also provides more room than the other two, which makes the Challenger the most practical in the pack. When you're in the market for a used car, especially one like these three, the list of standard equipment may vary depending on the model year. That's why we will take the 2023 model years as a reference, as that was the last time all three models were available as new. The base Mustang comes with cloth upholstery and manually adjustable front seats, while a 4.2-inch LCD display is all you get in terms of the infotainment system. Still, it's good to know that 6 speakers are standard, and that even the cheapest Mustang from 2023 comes standard with a Wi-Fi hotspot, USB port, and proximity keyless entry. Even the list of safety features is pretty decent, with goodies like a rear view camera, forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, pedestrian detection, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and many more. The cheapest Camaro comes in the 1LT trim, and compared to the base Mustang, it offers a bigger 7-inch infotainment system, along with an 8-inch digital instrument cluster. Wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are also part of the standard equipment, while there's a big possibility that you'll find a used base Camaro with extra features like Recaro seats or a sunroof. considering that this muscle car was offered with plenty of standalone options already in its base version. Finally, a few words about the Challenger, which was offered with a standard 7-inch touchscreen, smartphone integration, dual-zone climate control, 6-speaker stereo, and a few more convenience features. On the other hand, where it lags behind the competition is safety, considering that pretty much all advanced driver aids were available as options rather than being part of the standard offer. Still, the base Challenger was offered with a plethora of standalone options, so there's a big possibility you'll find a loaded used example, even though it wears the base XXT badge. Nappa leather, heated and ventilated seats, an 8.4-inch screen, an Alpine stereo system, and driver memory settings. Those are just some of the many options available already in the base Challenger. As you can see, although similar, each of these three brings something unique to the table. The Mustang stands out as the best daily driver, thanks to superior torque, best fuel economy, and well-balanced driving experience. Still, it lacks V6 sonic features, while the tight rear seats make it quite impractical. The Camaro is probably the sportiest one. Sharp handling and the most engaging drive are what you get, along with the most powerful engine of the three. Still, you may end up disappointed with its poor visibility and not particularly practical design. Finally, the Challenger is definitely the most traditional muscle car, with retro-inspired styling, the most spacious interior, and a relaxed drive. Still, it's the heaviest of the three, with handling that suited more for cruising than spirited driving. So, if you want the most well-rounded, the Mustang is the best bet. Driving dynamic and performance engagement clearly says Camaro, while the Challenger is an easy choice for those after classic muscle car charm, comfort, and space. All three are a good choice. It depends on what you want. What do you think of this entry-level muscle car comparison? What's your choice, and would you even buy any of these in their base form? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe, because many more car comparisons are coming. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.